Hello, and for those of you whom I've not had the chance to meet, my name is Beth Hunter, and I've been a member of Palmer since the early 70s when my family transferred here from St. Mark's Episcopal in Houston and when I was in middle school. I love this place. It's a privilege to be part of this electoral process for the Vestry this year, and it's an honor to be asked to serve and assist Palmer clergy, staff, and other parishioners as we look to come out of the pandemic. I think there are 3 areas of interest where I could be of particular value or have some specific ideas. I think communications is one, building longer lead times into all of our communication materials with the parish to give people a better opportunity to plan for attendance. I think also there's some opportunities with building relationships with external media outlets such as local papers, the Chronicle, maybe, and the local radio stations, etc. After communications, I think the second area is fellowship. I think we have such a wonderful community of Palmer that has survived this pandemic. And I'm on the finance committee and the endowment board, and we are in good shape, folks, coming out of the pandemic compared to so many Episcopal churches. And it's because of the quality of our offerings and the relationships that the parishioners have with each other and our clergy and staff. I think there are opportunities to build on that with small groups and bringing in more of the parish into leadership for small groups where relationships are made. And then capitalizing on our outreach. Jerusalem Peace Builders, Palmer's Assisting Reentry. How privileged we are to have the opportunity to work with these organizations. I'd love to have the chance to serve on the Vestry and wish you the very best. Thank you.
I'm Andy Williams. You've been given a very impressive list of nominees for the Vestry this time, and I'm flattered to be on it. I hope you'll include me on your ballot when you vote. Here's why. I came to Palmer in 1996 and fell in love with our beautiful liturgy and our music. I don't think there's a church in Houston that does those things better. But there are some things that Palmer can improve on. We need to attract new members, for one thing. I know we've had an epidemic the last 2 years, but even before that, when I looked around me, most of the faces I saw were faces I've seen for a good long while. And there are some faces that I don't see anymore. People move away, they leave, they die. We've got to replace them if we want to remain a parish. I think one way to accomplish that is to appeal to fathers. My observation that if dad comes to church, the family comes with him. Another point. Faith without works is dead, and we've done good works at Palmer. We've fed the hungry, we've clothed the naked, we've taken care of the sick, and we've visited the imprisoned. I know that we can't do those things right now at the rate we did before because of the epidemic, but when this is all over, I want to make sure that we pick up where we left off on those things. You need to be aware that voting is mostly online this time, and watch for an email that's going to tell you how to take care of that. I appreciate your attention today. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Pamela Harvey, and I've been blessed with a nomination for the Vestry for Palmer Memorial Episcopal Church. I joined the church in 2006, and I married my husband Jack in 2007 at Palmer. We have 2 children, Abraham and Charlie, both who were baptized at Palmer as well. Back in 2013, you might remember I was on Vestry as well. That was a 4-year term at the time to allow for Father Nutter's replacement, and now Father Willard, to come on board properly. During that 4-year term, we made some very difficult decisions on our Vestry. We lost the way station. We closed the Palmer preschool. These decisions were made not lightly. They were prayerfully and respectfully decided by the Vestry, who always takes on difficult decisions. In 2014, during that Vestry term, under Deacon Linda, I became the Safeguarding Records Administrator with her for the whole church. This is a lay role that I have had since 2014, and to me, the Safeguarding Records Administrator role and Safeguarding God's Children Trainer roles both embody Jesus' teachings. They are about community, they are about safety, they are about love, they are about respect. And in these roles that I do on at least a weekly basis, working on safeguarding, I try and embody Jesus' teachings and show myself as an example of how we can operate as a community in a safe and loving manner. Thank you very much for your attention.
Dear fellow Palmers, my name is Marie Warung. I've been a member of Palmer since 1995. Len and I married here in 1996, and we baptized and confirmed Olivia and Gabby at Palmer as well. Palmer is my home, and you are my community. You were part of the village that helped raise my girls. You welcomed and supported the Girl Scout troop that I began and led, and that the church sponsored for a number of years. You offered comfort and caring when I underwent treatment for breast cancer. And you've provided friendship, laughs, fellowship, and wonderful shared experiences over the years. In turn, I've served on Vestry. I've been a member of the choir eons ago, a member of a small group since 2011. I was part of ECW when we had one. I've been in the women's Bible study. I've taught Sunday school, and I am the current co-lead for the Serve Sunday ministry. I have a passion for ministries that support families and help raise up the next generation. During their teen years, my girls experienced a lot of turbulence in the youth program, which unfortunately came at a critical time in their faith journey. While the lost opportunity still makes me sad, my heart is equally glad for the explosive growth that I've witnessed in our family and youth programs since. They're strong and they're solid, and together we are equipping our younger saints to go out, marked with the sign of Christ's love, to make their mark on the world. That would be a focus and a high priority of mine as a member of Vestry. It's critical that we continue to support these programs and serve as the village that every family needs as they raise children. We've got an amazing slate of candidates standing for Vestry, and Palmer will thrive with any of the candidates being added to the mix of returning Vestry. It would be my privilege and honor to serve in that capacity. And I thank you for your time and consideration.
Hi, I'm Margie Dieter, formerly Margie French. I came to college in Houston in 1998 and stuck around to get my PhD in biochemistry from UT Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. I've been at Palmer since February of 1994, and I'm married to Jeff Dieter. Between us, we have 5 kids. My youngest child will graduate from high school this spring, so things are going to be pretty quiet at home. I work at Rice managing a graduate student program in biophysics. I have worn a lot of hats at Palmer. There is a list in my profile. Currently, I'm a verger and lector, and I help Pam Harvey with safeguarding training and record keeping. I agreed to stand for Vestry because I want to help in a more direct way. Palmer has been a home to me for the past 28 years. It's where I married my first husband, and it's the community that supported me through our divorce. It's where I met and married Jeff. I've experienced moments of overwhelming spiritual connection here and have been brought to tears by sermons, our choir, or sharing in each other's journeys. Palmer has been here for almost 100 years, and with good stewardship, we can ensure it's here for another 100. Our membership has been in decline for a long time. We need to grow our congregation. I want to have more things at Palmer we can invite non-church friends to build on our strengths, both longstanding and new, and draw people into our community. Clearly, we need to be thoughtful about how we gather and interact at this time, but with some smaller things now, perhaps we can set the table for what is to come. Thank you for your time.
Hello, Palmer family. This is Kirk Waldron doing his video in preparation for the election for the vestry. And so most of you guys know me. You can see my history in the bio. I'm a lifelong Palmer. I've been here ever since I was baptized on June the 15th, 1942. I have a long history, as long as I've been alive. My passion is building and grounds. You all know that. And so I've had decades of experience with building and grounds. I've also had decades of experience with general contracting. I own a contracting company. And so by doing contracting, you learn to be a problem solver. I'm a problem solver and a consensus builder, because I think that that's the only thing you can really do if you're a vestry and you represent the people. Time is money in construction. You can't dally around with the problem and let it cause you to be able to not do the job. You have to do the job, and you have to decide on whatever the outcome is going to be and whatever the progress is going to be and whatever course of action is going to be. And so I'm good at that. And I'm also good at finance. I'm a member of the finance committee, I'm a member of the worship committee, and of course the building and grounds committee. And so what you get with Kirk Waldron is a problem solver. And so I will close with a thought about how I feel about service to Palmer. And it involves a story about Jesus. And the story goes that when Jesus was about 12, his family was ordered by decree to go to Bethlehem in order to be counted, kind of like a biblical census. So they went. And they got to Bethlehem, and they did their duty, and were thinking about going home, and they couldn't find Jesus. And so they looked all around and thought, well, he'll show up. Another day goes by. The third day, they're getting a little desperate, wondering what happened. And so they go to the temple and they find him. And there he is. And so they admonish him for not coming back. And he seems like that he's really astonished that that's how they feel. So then he said, I need to be about my Father's business. And so Kirk Waldron feels like that. Any service to Palmer, that I need to be about my Father's business. And so I will do that. Thank you for understanding. I appreciate it.
Hi, Palmer. My name's David Candler. I've lived in Houston since 2004 when I graduated from Texas A&M University and joined ExxonMobil's IT organization, which is where my career continues today. My wife Amanda and I have been members of Palmer for almost 14 years, and we have two children, Evan, who's 12, and Zoe, who's 10. Prior to COVID in 2018 and 19, I served as a Sunday school teacher for kinder and first grade students. My family loves participating in Serve Sunday activities, both on and off campus. And last year, I ran for Vestry and was not elected, but served as the alternate and eventually did join the Vestry in mid-year to serve out the remainder of Randy Bird's term, which expires soon. On the Vestry, I served on the Building and Grounds Council. I want to serve Palmer because simply, I love this church. I love how open and welcoming it is and always has been to me and to my family. I love the relationships that members have with each other, how honest they are, how candid they are, and how respectful they are. And I want to give back to Palmer, and I want to help it maintain those special qualities and also look for new and creative ways to help us all improve. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Catherine Thompson. Thank you for the opportunity to stand for election to Palmer Vestry. My previous membership to the Vestry provide an understanding that the Vestry is an integral part of growth and parish stewardship. That multifaceted group of members offered a vast array of gifts to the church and community. I've been a member with Palmer since 2003. As a nurse by training, I'm currently employed with UT Health Science Center at Houston as the healthcare risk manager, a position I've held since 1987. Service is deeply seated in my heart and soul, as I know it is for many in our community. My bio reflects much of the service that I've been involved at Palmer. The service not specifically stated goes beyond the ministries, both inside and outside the church. It is often a surprise in my lap, but it confirms for me the presence of God. The last 2 years have been challenging and resulted in many new experiences for Palmer. We have made it work as best we could, so I deeply thank all who have worked to keep us in community. Not an easy task during that time. With all of our gifts, we have been resilient, which is so promising. Watching and listening to others during this time confirms the presence of God and my love for this Palmer community. I will continue to offer my abilities to service within and outside Palmer, whether through the vestry or otherwise. My blessings to all of you. Please stay safe, and thank you for this time.
Hello, I'm Tom Jackson, and I'm both honored and humbled to be a nominee for the upcoming vestry term. My wife, Kay, and I were introduced to Palmer by our daughter, Kate Potter, and her husband, Watson, in 2002. From our first visit, we felt that we had found our church home, a place that would make a difference in our lives and where we could make a difference in the lives of others. We officially became members on September the 1st, 2003, when we moved our letter from St. Martin's. The spirit of community we found at Palmer has made a difference in our lives, and we remain proud and excited to be a part of it. I have had the pleasure of serving our church community as a vestry member from 2004 to 2006, member of the finance committee and chairman of that committee from 2003 to 2006, and as a greeter, lay Eucharistic minister, and participant in a number of other ministries. Looking ahead, I believe that we are called as a church community to do 3 things. Number 1, to provide a meaningful and spirit-filled environment for worship. Number 2, to provide stimulating programs and educational opportunities for a better understanding of God's plan for us. Third, we must be a catalyst for apostolic action, outreach. We are challenged to provide leadership in providing a loving and intellectually fulfilling environment that will attract, enrich, and bring joy to all with whom we are associated. As a Palmer vestry person and communicant, I will be active in all 3 areas. Thank you for your time and attention to this process. There is both good and bad news for the position in which you now find yourself. The bad news is you have to make a decision among a group of well-qualified nominees. The good news is you can't make a mistake. You and the Palmer community are blessed to have an outstanding group of nominees from which to choose. Know that I am honored to have been selected as a nominee, and if elected, will strive every day to make you proud of your choice. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Abigail Follmar, and I just realized this is my 20th anniversary in Houston and being a member of Palmer. I'm an architect and have a master's in construction management, and my company, Jacobs, brought me to Houston in 2002 to manage construction for MD Anderson. I'm still with Jacobs and have been building hospitals for Methodist since 2014, which is the same year that I met my husband, Scott. I've always been involved in Palmer. In my early days, I was really involved in the evangelism ministries and newcomer ministries. But more recently, I've spent my time leading the Outreach Council and have recently passed on those reins as well as managing Serve Sunday. Looking back, I've had the opportunity to serve on 2 vestries, and during that time and those opportunities, I realized I'm officially an old-timer. I've been able to look back and see several of the changes our community's been through and seeing how we have ebbed and flowed. Sometimes we've had really big changes that have had major impact on our community, and other times they've just been slight shifts that just barely alter our course. Sometimes we've circled back to old ideas and tried to resurrect those and see how they fit us now. And other times we're racing off in new and exciting directions, but no matter what, change brings opportunity. I use some of my gifts daily in my work and career in the design and construction industry. And that is to really listen closely to people, understand what their needs and desires are, and work hard to make those a reality without my opinions getting in the way. If I'm elected to the vestry, I would do the same things. I would listen closely to our parish, try to really understand where we are now and our needs and our desires, and then work to make those into something for our whole community, and make it something tangible. All of this while maintaining our mission to know and serve, know and share the love of Jesus Christ.